At this hour, I'm Christina, Aguayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Experts say that the judge in the Daniel Penny New York City subway chokehold trial contradicted his own rules after sending the jury back to deliberate on the second lesser count after they deadlocked on the most serious charge of second-degree manslaughter on Friday. In his own earlier ruling, the judge said that the jury could only consider the second count if they found Penny not guilty on the first count, which didn't happen. So, according to experts, even if they convict on the second count, it would be overturned on appeal. The defense argues that the move is coercive, and the judge is pressuring the jury to come back with a guilty plea by changing his own rules, violating Penny's due process rights. Penny going viral on social media, with many saying he acted heroically on the subway by putting himself in danger to protect innocent citizens, many adding that if he is convicted, others won't act to protect people in the future. Penny has a long list of accolades stretching back to high school, where he was one of the top lacrosse players in Long Island. President Donald Trump is vowing to make immediate changes when he takes office on January 20th, including mass deportations, FBI reform, and pardons for January 6ers. Trump detailing his plans in an interview on Meet the Press, where he also said the January 6th committee should all go to jail.
And Cheney was behind it, and so was Benny Thompson, and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail. We're not touching Social Security, other than we might make it more efficient, but the people are going to get what they're getting.
Okay, so the entitlements
and
off the table.
And we're not raising ages or any of that stuff.
Okay.
But what I say to them is, I love you, and we're going to all work together, and we're going to bring it together. And you know what's going to bring it together? Success.
The Biden-Harris administration has announced that they are giving another $1 billion in taxpayer-funded military assistance to Ukraine. This as Biden rushes to give as much money as possible to Ukraine before President Donald Trump takes office on January 20th. The latest package will include more drones and munitions for rocket systems that the U.S. has provided. While these weapons are said to be needed right now, they will be funded through a program that pays for longer-term systems to be put on contract, meaning the weapon systems purchased are intended to support Ukraine's future military capabilities, not make an immediate difference on the battlefield. Last month, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, quote, President Biden has committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th. President Donald Trump is pushing Russian leader Vladimir Putin to act to reach an immediate ceasefire with Ukraine. Trump describes it as part of his active efforts as president-elect to end the war. He also said he would be open to reducing military aid to Ukraine and pulling the United States out of NATO. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says any deal would have to pave the way to a lasting peace. The Kremlin's spokesman said Moscow is open to talks with Ukraine. Russian media is saying that ousted Syrian leader Bashar Assad has fled to Moscow and has received asylum from his longtime ally. The reports come hours after a rebel advance swept into Damascus to cheers and ended the Assad's family's 50 years of iron rule. Thousands of Syrians poured into the streets, echoing with celebratory gunfire, joyful after a stifling nearly 14-year civil war. But the events raised questions about the future of the country and the wider region. The rebels face the daunting task of healing bitter divisions in a country still split among armed factions. An incoming state lawmaker in Missouri has introduced a bill that would give people $1,000 for reporting illegal migrants to authorities. State Senator-elect David Gregory's proposal will pay anyone whose tip leads to the arrest of an illegal migrant. It's called SB 72. It also creates the, quote, Missouri Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program, which would allow local citizens to serve as bounty hunters for the purpose of finding and detaining illegal migrants in the state.
Once convicted, illegal immigrants will no longer have access to public benefits paid for by our tax dollars. And much like Crime Stoppers and other federal hotlines, if you submit an anonymous tip that leads to the arrest of an illegal immigrant, you'll be rewarded $1,000. The voters have spoken. It's time to get serious about illegal immigration. President Trump, Missouri will have dangerous illegal immigrants gift-wrapped and ready for deportation.
The U.S. Department of Labor is investigating a popular meal service company for allegedly using illegal migrant children as part of their labor force. According to an investigative report by ABC, HelloFresh is facing allegations after an immigrant rights advocacy group helped report that there were migrant children allegedly employed at a cooking and packaging facility in the Chicago area. Some of their illegal child labor migrated from Guatemala and worked the night shifts. The Labor Department is also investigating Midway Staffing, an agency that hires employees to work at the facility for allegedly violating child labor laws. HelloFresh is the latest food supply firm to be accused of allegedly employing underage illegal migrants. The Department of Labor confirmed that they are indeed investigating both companies. Social media has erupted over President Donald Trump's dominating handshake with French President Emmanuel Macron at their meeting in Paris as both attended the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral. Many saying that Trump is back to dominating world leaders with just a handshake. Others jokingly showing pictures of a broken hand and Macron in an arm cast. Trump took the time to greet U.S. Marines stationed in France ahead of the reopening ceremony for the cathedral. Firefighters were greeted with a standing ovation in recognition of their work to save the iconic landmark during the devastating fire in 2019. Trump was joined by Elon Musk at the ceremony and sat in front row between Macron and his wife. The ceremony was attended by hundreds of dignitaries, including Jill Biden and Vladimir Zelensky. That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina, Aguayo, Salem News Channel.